Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away, a podcast devoted to all things in and around the world of sport in Kansas City soccer. I am Drew Vanderploeg, joined once again, as always, by my good friend Cody Welton. This week on the podcast, the things around sport in Kansas City soccer are the World Cup. That's what's happening, y'all. The World Cup has begun. We are reveling in it. We are enjoying all the stories around it. It has been a blast already, not just because the U.S. men's national team dismantled Paraguay in its opening match, but also just the games themselves have been a joy. Watching UEFA struggle has been a joy. Watching the African Confederation play as well as they have has been a joy. Just there are so many different things that we have been enjoying. This is going to be a little less structured than your regular Sporting Kansas City podcast. We will, of course, talk about the U.S. men's national team. We will break down the tactics and the things we enjoyed about that game, but we're also just going to let it flow. We're going to talk about things that we enjoyed about the World Cup this week. As I said at the end of last week's podcast, that is what this event is about. And there has been so much joy to share in the last week and consume. So I'm really excited about that part of it. We've got Panama and Ghana kicking off over on my other screen here as we're recording this. So it's a wonderful world that we're living in right now, Cody. What are your thoughts right now?
It's been great. It's been sort of worth the wait, and it's been really exciting, and it's been great to see all of the excitement in Kansas City. And Kansas City seems to be really rising to the occasion, and I've heard a lot more positive things than I have negative things, and really that's what you can ask for in an event this size. But the soccer itself has been, you can't really ask for anything more. I mean, yesterday was absurd, just absurd. And I feel like just every day has had, surprises and, the expanded format. I think a lot of people were expecting the games to not be competitive, and almost every game it seems like has been competitive at least to some degree. And the stars have been starring, most of them, and it's just an awesome time of the year. It's especially now, like during the group stage when there's multiple games every day, and it's just gluttony in the purest form, and I love it. And I haven't watched every game, but I have watched a lot of soccer, and I'm not tired of it yet. And so keep bringing it on.
Yeah, I don't find myself getting tired of it anytime soon. That is the thing that has been the most joy. It's just like there's a new game every couple hours. We start rolling at 2 p.m. And it is long past Cody's normal bedtime when games are still being played. And it's great. Like it's really great, and it's fun to enjoy and consume and participate in. There has been a different story every day. Yesterday was a little bit more of the chalk sort of doing what it's supposed to do, right? But those games, even though Norway sort of beat up on Iraq and Messi has his hat trick versus Algeria, it wasn't like those games were non-competitive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the score line may lead you to believe France-Senegal. Mm-hmm. That was a baller ass game, and it at the very last 5 minutes, even in stoppage time, is where it sort of became what it did. Those games were fun and they're enjoyable, and that is what we love about the World Cup. And it seems to be sort of continuing in that vein, and I'm just really loving that fact, including the kickoff in Arrowhead with Argentina beating Algeria last night.
That was great, and Arrowhead looked amazing, and that crowd they were popping, man. It was really nice.
The whole environment looked great. Again, there are some negatives around the concept of getting to the game that seem to be a little bit problematic for some folks, and we
knew that was going to be a problem. I mean, that's
right. FIFA took over half the parking lot for their perimeter.
Yep.
And that was always going to be an issue. We know what it's like trying to get an Arrowhead for a Chiefs game when they have all the parking spaces. So they were going to have to come up with something different. And it's not like this city is replete with public transit options. So it was going to always be a little bit of a problem. But when the kickoff happened, the stadium was pretty full. I think most folks ended up getting there that had tickets, and the game was really good. I think it was more of a struggle than people were probably familiar with, but hopefully there were some lessons learned, and they'll get it better as the games keep coming. But you're right.
The lesson learned is Messi is still magic. That's the lesson that's learned, and that because without him, it would have been a lot more of a grind, and just having that player just changes everything.
We do have to like, our priors are clear on Rodrigo de Paul, but that fucking assist that he hit was absolutely absurd. Dude.
It was a beautiful pass.
It was a beautiful pass, and so we do have to highlight that. But
playing with better players makes you better.
He plays with Messi every weekend,
right? But it's the whole squad, right? Like you have a whole squad full of world class players, and it makes a difference.
Don't get me started. I watch Rodrigo Bentancur play on a weekly basis. Like, come on now. Come on now. Manuel Ugarte, I will admit, is a very good player. Rodrigo Bentancur.
I don't know if Ugarte actually is. I think that they both have some serious holes in their games, but that's neither here nor there.
How
about speaking of that game, we can. I mean, how about Darwin's cornrows? I mean, wow.
It's a choice. It's a choice by Darwin. He spent a year in Saudi Arabia. He came up with some ideas. Did you see that the talk about him potentially coming back to Liverpool?
Okay. I love that guy, dude. I'm sorry. I love him. And it's like Spurs with
Richarlison. We've discussed this before.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
They're players who have a lot of downside, but man, they're just you gotta love those guys. Seriously. I would welcome him back with open arms. I love that dude.
I mean, I don't know where Richie's going at this point. So that big dumb idiot is ours for a while, I feel like. So I hear you. Like
you're not afraid of Orlando coming in and sweeping him away?
Do they have any DP slots left? I don't think they do.
I don't know.
No, I'm not really concerned about that. Okay, so let's of all those World Cup games, and we'll get to more of our World Cup observations here in a minute. The U.S. men's national team was the most noteworthy of these, obviously, as for the listeners of this podcast as well as the proprietors of this podcast. I'm not sure we knew what to expect going into this game. I think we've seen the potential of this team in some circumstances. We've also seen the flaws in this team in some circumstances since Mauricio Pochettino has taken over. I don't think any of us expected a performance quite like this. I was shocked. And by the way, your boy was on a work trip at the end of last week, had to go to Brownsville, Texas, and I was supposed to fly through Dallas back home on Friday and got stuck in Brownsville because flights got canceled because of a bunch of storms in Dallas. Thanks, El Nino. So El
Nino's not even here yet, man.
I know. Well, I mean, they're calling the disturbances related to El Nino. But yeah, I think I got stuck. So a coworker of mine was also stuck there. So we went and found a tequila bar in Brownsville that they also, I mean, it's a restaurant, but they also have a bunch of tequilas. And I was like, can you put the game? They had this tiny TV over the bar. And I was like, can you put the game on? And he pointed us over to the side. They had this huge TV over in their little side area. So he put the game on. It was us and a couple other folks and all the staff watching the game.
That's great.
Nobody in the restaurant cared that much, but all of the staff, as soon as they got done, handing plates off, they were back over here watching the game. It was actually pretty cool. And most of them were younger than Gen Z, right? We're talking 21-year-olds at most, but very excited to watch the game. And it was just so much fun watching this team play that way.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of thoughts on the tactics and the way, but honestly, the thing that the biggest thing that I take away from watching that game is joy. Mm-hmm. It was fun to watch the U.S. men's national team play soccer. And I cannot remember the last time I was able to say that. Yeah,
it's been a while. And, scoring goals that causes joy, right? I mean,
For
we
sure.
we like a win,
but there was more to it than that. For
there
sure,
there was, and I think that the thing that should be celebrated, that was the thing that Pochettino was really, one of the things that he was really brought in to do was to shift the culture of the team, to make the team more accountable and more professional, if you want to call it that. And all of the sort of machinations that he has pulled over the last year and a half or so, like, they've kind of raised eyebrows at times, but you can see that it worked, and it worked to the extent that that team was they were on the front foot. They were the protagonists, right? And maybe that's something that that Pochettino came to in looking at his squad, was that the defense is definitely going to be a liability for the team, but the team, they play hard. They have a decent attacking squad, and so maybe he shoved his chips to that end, because they're attacking. They are not playing around. And when you watch throughout the World Cup, when we've watched teams, even like big teams that score a goal and then withdraw and stagnate, and that was not what the United States did. They could easily have done that, and I think that we all know that if, for instance, Greg Berhalter was still the coach, that's what they would do. They would score that. They would score that goal, 2022 against Wales, and then they would just set up shop, right? And that's not what happened. Like, the United States, the culture of Americans writ large, and the United States just generally, is one of sort of being front-footed and being the protagonist. That's the way the United States sees itself in the world, sometimes for good, sometimes for ill. But like, why would you want your team to play differently than that? Like, your team is supposed to represent the country, and so hell yeah, be the protagonist, right? You have nothing to lose at this point, right? Like you're not expected to win the World Cup, so go out there and play your asses off, and they did, but it wasn't just like proper football man effort and desire. They were playing really intelligent and really at times sophisticated soccer against a team that, like, for people who don't know, it's easy to look at the result and say that, they were just playing Paraguay. Paraguay is an excellent defensive team, and for the
United
States,
10 total goals in 18 games of World Cup qualifying,
and they beat huge teams from CONMEBOL to qualify, right? And
they beat Brazil and Argentina 1-0,
and so, like, it's a legitimate win, and it is not a fluke, right? It's a legitimate win by a team that came out there and executed, and it was just amazing. Honestly, it was truly an amazing experience.
I'm gonna first kick this off, and I don't get into platitudes and over sensationalizing things that much. It is the best performance I've ever seen from a U.S. men's national team in my life.
Yeah.
I've never seen that team play this way. Portugal 2002 is probably the closest I've seen them get to this. I've never seen a U.S. men's national team play this comprehensively good for 90 minutes in my life. Mm-hmm. And it's a soccer game. Even this game had a little bit of a second half lull in it, but then they were able to get back after it. There's so much that I take away from this game. But I think the first part that you highlighted, I want to discuss first, which is the pragmatism. This team is not going to draw England 0-0. They're not going to be able to do that, right? The way that and I'm talking about the 2022 World Cup,
right?
With Berhalter in charge, they scored 2 goals in the group stage. and moved on, and then another goal in the knockout round and got beat up by the Dutch. But they advanced from the group stage scoring 2 goals. This team can't do that. The defense is not good enough for them to be able to move on that way. So there is some pragmatism in pushing towards the goal and using your legendary elite attacker on the left side to help you create that. And by the way, Christian Pulisic in just 45 minutes had probably one of the best games I've ever seen him have.
Yeah, he was great.
Cáceres, that right back, is going to be having nightmares of Christian Pulisic. I mean, he got a yellow card in like the 9th minute. Like it was when on the own goal when Pulisic split the two of them and then hit that soft touch to McKinney. Still got it, looked like a long touch. He still got to it. Soft touched it over to McKinney. And the reason it's an own goal is because if that guy doesn't make a play on the ball, Balogun's just tapping it in.
Yep.
This is the kind of shit that you just love to see, is this coordinated attacking movement with guys who know how to go towards the goal. And they were 100% doing that. It's just not something we're used to seeing this team doing. And I'm trying not to get too far out over my skis on it because it's just one game and they do have more games to play. And realistically, no one plays multiple games like that in the World Cup, right? Like things change, dynamics change, opponents change. It becomes more difficult. But the fact that they were able to take apart Paraguay in this way, which is, as you noted, a very solid defensive and organized defensive team, is noteworthy. I think, there have been a number of articles and podcasts about this, so I'm not going to try to regurgitate all of it. But the thing that I really noticed was the fluidity of movement of the team. And as players sort of trading positions in real time, and then other players floating into the spaces that were left by as they traded those positions. And that is something you usually see from really well-drilled club teams. It's not something you often see from international teams, mainly because it's really fucking hard to coach that in an international window. It's really hard for those players to develop that level of rapport with each other to where they understand each other's movements and are able to float in that way. And I actually remember, it could have been almost a year ago now, discussing how Pochettino was trying to get this team to do fairly complicated third man movements and going, I don't know that this is possible, that he can pull this off.
Yeah.
It seems too complicated to try to implement with a national team. When your player pool is as wide as it is, how do you develop that level of rapport to make these things go off? And somehow in this game against Paraguay, we saw it. And we saw it executed at an extremely high level, which does provide me some pause because I don't think it's realistic to expect them to execute it this well every time. But it also shows that Poch's philosophy, if he can get it to work, might actually elevate a lower talented team to the ability of getting high level results in the international game, because most international teams are not trying this shit.
Right.
And so it's interesting to me, and I was really, really enjoying seeing it. The interplay between Pulisic and Jedi Robinson on the left side. Sometimes Jedi would invert when Pulisic would go wide. Sometimes Jedi would go wide and Pulisic would invert. Malik Tillman would sort of roll in there as the third man, and they would play off of each other and get overloads there. They would do the same thing on the right side. Sometimes Dest would be wide. Sometimes McKinney would be wide. It's a real problem for an international team to try to chase movement like this.
Yeah.
They're just not used to seeing it.
I think that there are a few things that are contributing to this, and I think that one of the things is the fact that this is a team that a group of players that have played together a lot coming up, and I think that if you look at for instance how well Argentina plays. One of the reasons they play that well together is because this is a group of players who have played together for quite a long time, and
also Lionel Messi.
And that helps, right? But I maybe I'm thinking too much of Pochettino as an Argentinian, but I do I do kind of buy into the idea of different countries having sort of different football culture, and I think that for a long time, the United States looked solely to Europe as the way that we should develop our players, the style of football that the United States plays. And I think that it's been refreshing to see Pochettino bring a little bit of a different take onto things. And I think that that's one component of it. And I think another component of it is we're finally at a point, and we might not have like elite talent like some other teams, but we're finally at a point where we're not at a skill disadvantage, right? This isn't like 20 years ago. These are players who have been trained in academies, who have, cut their teeth through tryouts in Europe and have worked their way into some of the top teams in Europe, and they have the technical skill that's necessary to compete at this level. And so the next level to that is the sort of like soccer IQ stuff. And I think that's the stuff that Pochettino is really trying to impart on this team. And I don't think, I guess the point is that it's like the right coach at the right time, right? The right person, the right profile at the right time, to get a group of players from this country sort of, rowing in the right direction all together. And, I think that the floor of the team rose considerably on Friday, because I just don't think that that's not an accident. The stuff that we were watching, not an accident, right? It is the product of coaching and drilling and a team that's all working together, and so I think that I'm really optimistic for the performance of the team throughout this World Cup, but even moving forward, to even the next cycle, I think there's a reason for a lot of optimism.
Yeah, I think that I think on the soccer IQ side of things, I'm not necessarily sure that how much Poch is teaching them on soccer IQ, other than a different way of thinking than maybe they've seen before, right? I don't know. I mean, learning from a new coach is always going to make you better, right? Like, you're going to get multiple perspectives, and so you're going to learn different things from them. But what I do think he's done is instilled a certain mindset and philosophy into how they play that is just very front-footed.
Yeah.
It's very front-footed. So to the point that you were making earlier about Americans being used to being the protagonists, he has made this team the protagonists. They're going to go take the game to people. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but they're not going to fuck around and sit in a low block. That's not going to happen. They can't anyway. The team's not good enough defensively to do that. And also, this was the most smothering counterpress I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and
this reminded me of like Tottenham, like 2018,
yeah.
Like just absolutely smothering. Like, you cannot get the ball near their goal because they take it back from you immediately, and that is structure as much as it is effort, right? Like, the effort is a huge component of it, but the structure, their rest defense shape, is what creates their ability to get the ball back.
Yeah.
And they were so well distributed and so ready for anything that could happen. And that is the thing. Like I said, typically you don't see an international team be this structured because you don't have the amount of time necessary to coach that into them, or like instruct all of those positions into them. But this was an absurd performance of counter pressing.
They pressed like so much better than Canada did, and Canada is coached by a like an all-out pressing coach, and they weren't even in the same like Mexico and Canada both played much lower quality opposition and were much less impressive. And I think that specifically with regards to pressing, for the United States to come out and really impose themselves on the game like that, and to my mind, they're one of the best pressing teams in the entire World Cup, right? Based on what we've seen in the first week. And that's a considerable accomplishment given, all the other teams, given the profile of people, other coaches like Bielsa and Jesse Marsch. It's quite an accomplishment.
Uruguay didn't look anything like this.
No,
I watched that Uruguay
shit,
match.
Man. They
looked like
terrible.
ass. Yeah. But yeah, I think that
Canada looked like ass too. I want to be very clear. Canada looked like ass. They did not look good.
Yeah,
and neither did Mexico.
But Jesse can't keep keep the U.S.'s name out of his mouth. So
everybody talks about who they're rooting for. Like, I'm just gonna share the 5 teams that I'm hate watching, and every time I turn on the television. First of all, they are Mexico and Canada. Definitely hate watching those. Definitely England because fuck those guys. Definitely Portugal because fuck those guys as well.
Well, you know what's weird is Portugal. I don't hate near as much. I just hate the one guy that's left.
Oh no, they just.
Bernardo Silva sort of, Bruno Fernandes sort of, but they have Vitinha is probably one of my favorite players in the world right now. They have good guys on their team.
I'm not saying it's not an indictment of their team. It's just I don't want them to win. I'm rooting against Portugal.
I am rooting against them because there's still the vestiges of that Portugal team that I hate. Pepe's not there anymore, but he was
in the stands.
His aura is hanging. His aura is hanging over the game. So yeah,
I know what you mean.
I'm with you. I know what you mean. But yeah, there's no one, at least in the first game, and like I said, I don't want to get too out over my skis. There's no one in the first round of games that performed like this. Literally, the conversation in the Discord was, "What is that? What am I seeing?" And Sam Perron was nice enough to highlight to some people what gegenpressing is. Yeah, because that was what that was. It is literally if you were trying to teach it to someone, here, watch this game, right? Yeah. That is what we saw, and it was just the execution was at a level that I was not prepared for.
No, I don't.
The U.S. men's national team to execute a game plan like that.
I don't think anyone was prepared, and I think that one of the it's weird how sometimes a coach will just make a weird decision, and it'll out of maybe sort of desperation or necessity, and it'll change the fortunes of a team. And you think to the choice with Leeds this year when they in the middle of the game went to 5 at the back, and then they pretty much stayed that way throughout the season, and that's one of the things that sort of kept them up. And the same thing might eventually be said about playing Tillman at the 8, and it I mean, he sure seems to be playing a lot better, right? And
he had a fantastic game.
He was great, man. He was awesome. And
my man of the match, as much as Pulisic was very good, he came off at halftime for reasons we'll discuss later. But Tillman, out of his mind in this game, in my opinion, just absurd.
He's just offensive enough to be able to play that sort of 8 role. And his
if Tyler Adams is next to him, I think,
absolutely,
I agree,
he can do
right?
that. Yeah. So I think that that change that Poach made at the
it was at the water break of the last friendly, right?
Yeah.
That they moved, that they swapped McKinney and him, and he moved back.
when you look at it in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. But at the time, a lot of people were thinking, well, Wes it would be better as an 8. But you've unlocked Tillman's best attributes. You've moved Wes further forward, which unlocks his best attributes, and it just like those little tweaks can like just all of a sudden balance a team.
Did you see how many vertical channel runs Wes made in this game?
I mean, he was all over the place and putting. He is
but
a big part of the reason they were always on the back foot. That Paraguay was always on the back foot
because Wes was making those runs.
He was making those
vertical runs. There were so many. Like there's several you see where he's actually involved in a great offensive play. There are a bunch you don't see where he's just making that run, putting pressure on the back line, which is creating space for his teammates behind him.
Yep.
Wes had I actually feel bad that Wes doesn't get on the score sheet in this one because he worked his ass off in this game.
That's the thing. Making those vertical runs it's a lot of work. Like it is just time and time again, and 90% of them aren't rewarded with anything. But you're setting it up for that 10% where you're in on goal, and he's been great at that. He has the capacity to just be an all-action type of player, and that's what this team needs.
And he has great instincts in the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes any sense to pull him away from that area.
Agree. Like I said, in retrospective, it makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, okay, but there were a lot of really smart soccer people who were advocating for Wes to play as part of the double pivot, right? And it's. We don't need that.
I think there was concern about Tillman's ability to defend effectively. I think that was really the thing. And he's just defensive enough. And again, I think to your point, as long as the counter pressure structure is effective, it's not really that important anyway. Right?
Yeah.
And as long as Tillman's willing in transition defense to really get back, which he did several times in this game, I think that's really the most important. I don't care if it's Wes or Tillman when you're running backwards trying to cover a transition event.
Yep.
I'm not putting either one or the other over making a game-saving tackle, right?
Yep.
It's more about did you put the effort in, did you close down the angle, et cetera, et cetera. And he was very effective at that.
And I will say also, almost as important of a move as having Tillman play as part of a double pivot is having Dest play as an attacking winger. And I've never been like on the Dest hype train, and I think moving him up the field is helping me really appreciate him a lot more, because it's kind of like we have our own little dribbly boy out there, and that's kind of nice. Yeah, I like that.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like you're not necessarily as concerned about his dribbly boy antics when they're 75 yards away from your own goal.
And when, when he's got coverage, he's got people behind him to help pick up loose balls.
It's interesting. He seems to have very little defensive responsibility in rotation either. When Freeman would get high, McKinney would drop back into the defender line. That was the thing that I found was interesting. Is like you would not see Dest often drop back into the back three in their progression shape. Weston would drop back there, or Tyler would drop back there, right? Like it would never be like, and I say that because rotational play is a huge part of what Podge has had this team doing.
Yep. He
has players rotating into areas. There would be plenty of times when Alex Freeman would sort of tuck in and invert. Like he'd sort of go into the midfield and sort of invert into a space and then be sort of a distribution hub. Well, you need someone rotating back behind him so that you have your rest defensive shape. And it was never Dest. Yeah. So Dest has one remit in this team, and that is to be an attacking player. And I think that sort of frees him up to do the things that he's candidly elite at. Like 1v1 dribbling is something he's very good at. Breaking a defense down on the ball, he's very good at, and it's a good way to use his skills.
I think an ambitious MLS team might consider bringing Dest in as a winger and letting him cook MLS defenses, because he would cook them all.
He would.
And you just say, dude, and because he's never going to be an attacking only player in Europe. So, that can be a little carrot for him. Just say, hey, you come over here, you get to attack all the time. You'll have very little defensive responsibilities. We'll pay you handsomely, maybe not DP money, and you can just feast.
Do you think Sergiño Dest is the guy trying to get $10 million a year? I mean, everyone would try to get that money,
sure.
But do you think that that's really like what?
No, he doesn't seem. He doesn't seem like that.
Did you see the whole thing of him? He has a portrait in his house of him taking a selfie next to a jet. It is a portrait of Sergiño Dest taking a selfie of a jet, Mickey Mouse, and a mountain. That is a portrait he has in a house.
As random as it sounds, too. It's wild.
It is so Serge. Like, he's just that guy. Don't try to unpack it. It's just how he is. What these rotations created was flooding the zone with attackers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you and I have bemoaned for several years when it comes to the team we normally cover, Sporting Kansas City, is the lack of attackers in the box when the ball makes it that way. The U.S. did not have this problem. They were absolutely flooding the zone with attackers. It was wild to me. I just did not even. I was like, it's like one of those jokes. Like, I didn't know we were allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of coaches shy away from that because you think that you leave yourself open to counterattack, which you do to an extent. But if your counter pressing setup is as good as the United States was, and if you are so aggressive that you're not allowing those counterattacks to get started, then there's no. You might as well flood the zone, right? Like it's kind of a conundrum, right? Like, do you send players forward? Do you maintain some solidity in defense to prevent a counterattack? Well, if you flip the script and you say, I'm going to send all my players forward, we're going to flood the box, but then if we lose the ball, everybody who's flooded the box now has counter-pressing assignments that they're going to take on and do it, with intensity and with physicality. Then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, you can flood the box. You're not leaving yourself completely exposed.
Right. It's not. So here's the thing that's interesting about it. This often gets into the conversation of like positionalism versus relationism, right? Like, they were flooding the box, but they were doing it with structure.
Mm-hmm.
The runs were coming from areas, and they were sort of spaced effectively, that if they lost the ball, the structure was there to handle what happened next. And that was the part that made it work. They did, like, the number of times that it looked like Paraguay stuffed something out, and immediately the U.S. was on the ball 40 yards from Paraguay's goal, resetting.
Yeah.
It just happened over and over and over again. And I was like, this is what used to happen to the U.S. in these games.
Right. Just getting suffocated and not being able to get out of their own half. Not being able to get out of their own half.
Yeah. This is the kind of shit we used to have to deal with and then hope to burn them on the counterattack eventually.
Yep.
And it was just kind of wild to watch the U.S. put their foot on a game like this. And it has me asking, like, now I am familiar with these tactics. This looks like peak Pochettino.
Yep.
Peak Pochettino, Southampton, and Tottenham. Extremely hyper-aggressive counter-pressing team. Extremely, like, runs a fuck ton, right? Really goes after the opponent. I often question whether that could work in a World Cup. Like, could you get this out of a team in an international window? And additionally, usually the games are so close together,
right,
that you can't really put these guys through this much over and over and over again. 48 team World Cup group stage matches are like a week apart.
Yeah.
Is this, first of all, sort of Poch's magnum opus of his style, like, coming to fruition? And two, can it work in where you got to win 8 games?
I mean, I think it absolutely can work. I think that, that was, like, as I said earlier, that was one of the things that really surprised me, is that, I really think the floor of this team is raised considerably. Like, I didn't know, I thought we might struggle to get out of the group, right? Like I thought that, I was really afraid of Turkey coming in and, having to play, 2 very defensively sound teams like Australia and Paraguay, and realizing that the
ended up looking like Spain did, right?
I mean,
where you're just
for real, right?
Kicking the ball around for 90 minutes, yeah.
And I don't I'm not afraid of that right now. Like I those fears have kind of dissipated, and maybe that's naive after one game, but I do think that that what has been shown is a blueprint for beating. That aggressive counter press, you can employ that against a bunkered team, right? Like it's not
Paraguay was in a solid mid block,
right?
And they tore their defense apart.
You can play that against a bunker team. You can play that against a team that is ball dominant, that wants to build out of the back. I mean, that's the beauty of using gegenpressing, is you can apply it across the board. And
right, but the reason that I want to be clear, I want to make sure everybody understands this. The reason it allows you to work is because your attacking movements are setting up the repress, right? Like the whole concept. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. Yes, they were flooding the box with attackers, but their structure was such that if they turned the ball over, the repress was available immediately.
Yeah. Immediately. Right? That's the thing. The proximity is really important, right? It's you have numbers, but those numbers are in the right positions to be able to cover the defensive third and apply that aggressive counter press, and then you have defensive players who are willing to step up and intercept balls that are hopeful balls that are coming, trying to break that counter press, which is another thing the United States, I think, did really well.
They did. And I don't think this game was perfect by any means. There was certainly
they gave up a goal.
They gave up a goal. But that's I think goes back to the pragmatism of the selection of Pochettino to play this way. Mm-hmm. You are going to leave yourself susceptible to a counterattack, but when you hang 4 on them,
it's okay.
You take that, right? You take that and run.
Well, you hung 3 on them, and then at the end of the game,
Gio Reyna
dude.
But I would say this. So like in their Gio Reyna's goal, we'll discuss in a moment. When Gio Reyna came on, he settled the game down as well. His sort of calm on the ball, because Paraguay was getting back into this game a little bit. Their energy was starting to take over a little bit. There had been multiple substitutes that have happened. Gio comes in and just sort of just calms everything down in midfield, because he's very hard to take the ball off of, and he doesn't do anything quickly. Let's be honest.
He drew some important fouls.
Right,
is what he did,
and he's really good at it. Right,
yeah.
And if you're playing against an aggressive opponent, he's actually perfect for that environment, because he sees those angles, he sees when they're coming, and he'll just put them in bad positions. And I still say the most gifted and smartest soccer player on the team, period. he's got some other issues with his own physical situation. But when it comes to technical skills and soccer brain, he's the best player on the team. And he just was the exact right player to come in at that time and settle the game down. And then my favorite thing about this goal is him shit-talking Kaku the whole way down the field. Mm-hmm. Because they get into this little thing and Kaku tries to mess with him and he bumps him off. Actually Gio does some really smart stuff here where he sort of shades his body to bump into him. So he's letting Kaku have it as well. And then Kaku starts chirping and he starts chirping back to him. And then he goes up to the top of the box and Travella's a 20-yarder into the far post. And I'm just like, that is the most giant fuck you I've ever seen in my life. And it is the most Gio Reyna goal, right? It's
what so disrespectful, man. It's so disrespectful. It's beautiful.
But it is.
Tyler Adams would not have shot the ball, right? Like a player like Tyler Adams, he would have driven the ball to the corner flag, and that's the right thing to do. Is you waste the time, you see the game out, and Gio Reyna is like, oh fuck that, I'm getting
that never even comes into Gio's mind. No, he's like, fuck you.
No, and it's beautiful, and I love the celebration. I love the whole thing. Everything about that goal is perfect, dude. The context only makes the goal better. It's just perfect.
It really does. If you didn't enjoy that goal, you hate fun.
But
I'm certain of it. Or you're Paraguayan. One or the other. Pulisic did come off at halftime after absolutely destroying Cáceres for a half. Is this a problem? Is this a real concern?
I don't think it is.
It feels a whole lot. So, someone was bringing this up today because you finally saw today Pulisic on the field doing drills, sort of off to the side with a big sleeve on his leg. This feels a little bit like this is another thing with Poch. This feels a little bit like South American subterfuge, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. You know, Pulisic's fine. He doesn't need to practice with the rest of the team. He's good. He's the talisman on the team. You just play up his injury concerns. Leave all that sort of uncertainty around, and it's just at this level, just any little bit of purchase you can get, any little bit of doubt you can sow in your opponent's mind. You got to do it. I'm okay with it, and I think Pulisic's fine. I think he'll probably play. And
Paraguay did this with Enciso. They made it seem like he wouldn't be able to play for 2 weeks.
Poach just did this with Chris Richards. He just did the same shit with Chris Richards, and everybody's like, "Whoa, Christian's..." No, dude, he literally just did the same exact thing. Everybody before the game had no idea whether Chris Richards was even going to play, and then he's going the full 90. What? Give me a break.
And was fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic. 83 for 83 passing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Poach coaching this team. It just feels like a
little unfair. It feels a little unfair because typically you don't have coaches with this much sort of panache. Oh, Ghana just beat Panama in stoppage time. Holy shit!
Good. Fuck Panama. We can all agree on that. So that's they're not on my hate watch group, but they're close.
Definitely not on the Christmas card list. No. Not on the Christmas card list. Definitely not. No, but that's one thing. It's Poach. He seems a little unfair to have as an international team coach because typically international team coaches are Gareth Southgate or Greg Berhalter, right? We're not talking about. I mean, I understand Tuchel's coaching the England team, but Tuchel's
not only that, but what's his face is coaching Germany too.
Nagelsmann. Yeah, it has changed a little bit in that regard, but Didier Deschamps still coaches France, and somehow they still keep winning.
But that's because they have the best. They have the best and deepest player pool in the world. So
Ryan Shirky didn't even start that game. What the fuck is going on? Anyway,
that's because Didier Deschamps does not like fun. That's
he's an idiot. Yeah, Didier Deschamps is not a good coach, but their team is so good it doesn't matter.
Who would you rather start, Adrian Rabiot or Ryan Cherki?
But the thing is like, I say all that, but then Rabiot dropped a dime on that goal.
Know.
Like,
but fuck that guy. That guy's he is. Hey, sports need heroes and villains, and he's a villain. We can all agree it's okay.
We can all agree that Rabiot was a villain.
Yeah,
there's no need to argue about this.
And honestly, Gio Reyna can be a villain. That's fine, because
I don't know if Gio deserves to be a villain because his parents suck. Does he?
No, but it's not because of that. It's just because of the way he carries himself and the disrespect that disrespectful goal and then the celebration after. That is villainous behavior, man. It is villainous behavior, and that's fine. It's good to have a villain on your team, man. It really is.
It was a disrespectful goal. It was pretty
it was totally disrespectful.
A right-footed Travella to the far post in 90 plus 7.
Yeah, like the last kick of the whole game. It's just like, fuck you, I'm going to score. Love it.
But we've needed that kind of shit, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
absolutely.
need that kind of shit. And it's great. But I do think Pochettino, for the most part, comparatively to like other national team coaches, has more of that in it. Like, he's putting the whole concept of the tactics that were accomplished in this game and the ability to get guys to do it. That's why he was coaching at Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain and all these other places, is because he's an elite coach. And most of the time, national teams don't have coaches of that caliber.
Yeah.
And I think that was the hope with hiring him, is that he would provide that value. And we were concerned up until this point whether or not it was actually going to come off. And then when the actual games that counted started, well, we've only had one, but it came off and you saw the value of having him there, which is great. Can they continue this?
I mean, yeah, I expect them fully to win the group, and I expect them, frankly, to do so easily, or fairly easily. A little bit of that is dependent upon, Christian Pulisic not being, super injured. But yeah, I think that we can expect to continue, and I think that. I think that quarterfinals or semifinals are a worthwhile aspiration for this team. I don't think it's out of reach. I think it's realistic, given the way that the U.S. played and having watched most of the other teams play as well. Like they're in that as of right now, they're in that upper tier of performances. They put on a very good performance against a very good opponent, and that can't be said for a lot of other teams so far this World Cup.
Yeah, and there's a lot of concern given Nestori Irankunda's game for Australia versus Turkey. But man, Australia is not anywhere near the level of Paraguay.
No, and the thing is Australia like they're good for one game. Right, like one good game like that, but can they string those together? Like, I'm not.
Good for them for beating Turkey. Like, I'm happy for
absolutely,
them.
absolutely.
But that is an aberration of what their talent level is.
Yes,
like I do think Nestori Irankunda is going to be a very good player at some point. But the rest of their team is a bunch of guys from the Champo and Serie B and shit like that. Like, this is not the talent level is not the same as what Paraguay was. Right. And so, they're going to be a defensive team hoping to counterattack as well. You would expect a very similar game plan, and assuming that the U.S. is able to execute, you would expect them to have a similar performance. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be the same, because the way that the U.S. played in this game is like something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I don't expect it to be that good, but I expect it to be good enough.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm I'm just like I said, maybe it's naive. I'm just not that concerned about Australia. They don't scare me.
You shouldn't have to be concerned. I think it's more just the there's some what am I looking for here? Just
there's variance. Sometimes the ball goes in, sometimes the ball doesn't go in. That's concerning, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm not that concerned about them.
There's some imposter syndrome. Let's be honest. Like that is kind of that's kind of the situation. Is like, do we really belong at this level?
I will say that that second goal, who scored it? Metcalf, I think, scored it. That his knee slide, elite. It was great.
Who are you talking about?
For Australia.
Oh, I wasn't paying it. Oh, okay, yeah. I got you. Okay. I was like, wait, what are we? Excuse?
It was just a quality knee slide, Drew. What can I say?
Well,
I like a good knee slide. I mean,
whenever I see a knee slide, I just think about how much that would hurt me to try to
right.
It was Metcalf. Yes, you are correct. But yeah, I just look at those and go,
no, that's not me.
Yeah. Did it remind you of that meme of the guy whose knee slide that went for like ever? It
kind of did. Okay, it was quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't knee slide either. I spent all day today hiking around the bike trails in St. Joe, Missouri, and then drove back. And getting out of the car was a challenge for me.
Yeah. Dude, I have to think about getting out of my chair at my desk. Like it's just.
It doesn't get any better. I got you by a few years, buddy, and I will tell you that it just keeps going.
Okay, let's talk. We've discussed some things that we've already enjoyed about the World Cup, and I'm glad that we were able to intersperse them into the conversation because I think that has been the most enjoyable part of the last week is just how fun this World Cup has been.
Yeah,
we have to talk about Rock Chalk Algeria, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's super cool, right?
Yeah.
I did not go to KU. I am not like connected to KU in any way, shape, or form. But I really appreciate like the way that LFK has just sort of adopted Algeria and the way that they did it. It wasn't just like, oh, hey, you're here and we'll come out to the practice or whatnot. It was significant. Like the whole thing that the Algerian team did with like doing like the little post practice stuff with the kids, the KU band learning the Algerian anthem and playing it for them as they came out. As the Algerian team got there, just like the welcoming committee, there was like 600 people just waiting for them to welcome them to Lawrence. Like, I'm glad that people get to see like what Midwestern people really are like.
Yep.
Because again, as I highlighted at the end of last podcast, I think it's very easy to get wrapped up in sort of the national media point of view of kind of what things really are versus the reality that you and I and everyone around us lives every day, which is just be nice to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is Lawrence to a T, man. I mean, I grew up in Lawrence, and when I was growing up in Lawrence, it was still a small enough town that when, like during the summers, it was a small town, like literally, because like everybody left in it, and it was a really great place to grow up, and for all of those reasons, right? It's a great community. It's a very welcoming and, for the most part, progressive community, and it was just a fun. It's a fun group of people, and it does not surprise me at all that they have sort of, it's adopting is the right word. Like that Algerian team is Lawrence's now, and they love them, and the love and respect is mutual, and it's a really great thing. Although I did hear that there are a bunch of people from Algeria who are now saying they want to come visit Kansas, and I think they should be warned that not all of Kansas is Lawrence.
Not all of Kansas is Algeria or is Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, like literally 20 miles to the west of Lawrence.
Yeah,
things change.
Yeah, things change. Things change.
No, but I think it just shows. We make jokes, but I promise you, if a bunch of Algerians dropped into Hayes or something like that, the people would just be nice to them. Like people are not
No.
as much like I said, if you separate the political bullshit from the people and just talk to the people, by and large, people are in this country are nice.
Yep, absolutely.
And
I have been all over Kansas, and I have been in all very many of those little dinky, towns, and you are absolutely correct. Like all of those people are so nice and will give you the shirt off their back and do anything for you, and it's great. It's great that Algerians get to experience that kind of Midwestern hospitality.
And they're not the only ones. If you pay attention to social media and just see just kind of the different things going across, apparently the Scots drank Boston out of beer. Did you see this stuff?
Yeah, I did. That's not surprising.
They quite literally just drank Boston out of beer, which is saying something because they know how to drink beer in Boston. I promise you. This is not their first time. And the Scots are like, no, we're going to just empty your supply of the beverages.
It's amazing.
I mean, they deserve it. Did you see the whole the guy who made the EDM track of the Scottish song with Scott McTominay on it?
No,
I need to send it to you.
not.
Oh my god, it's great. It's great. The guy's like a Scottish DJ, and he created this Scottish anthem, and it's unreal. But the Scots deserve it. They deserve to celebrate. And they got
to win. They deserve.
Yeah.
They deserve a win. It's great.
Winning a World Cup match is a big fucking deal.
It is.
The Scots did it, and they did it in Foxborough, and they were there, and then they were also there at the Red Sox game the day after, which was awesome. So that's what I'm talking about. That is the shit about this World Cup that I was really sort of hoping to see and excited to see. And was a little concerned based on just sort of the narrative around it, that whether or not we would see it. And
I think the opposite
as is usual, the narrative is amplifying things that are valid, but also probably a small part of what people are really concerned about.
Yeah, people who are concerned about for one reason or another about coming to America are finding that just America in general is a pretty awesome place. And
America is not our politicians. It is not.
No country is their politicians. That just deserves to be underscored. No country is their politicians, and every country has amazing people and amazing places. And many countries have amazing food. I won't say all of them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Scottish cuisine is up there, but yeah, that's the beauty of the World Cup. It really is.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The initial game here in Kansas City happened last night as we're recording this. Lionel Messi getting his hat trick versus Lawrence, Kansas's own Algeria, at Arrowhead Stadium, or Kansas City Stadium, I guess I have to call it. Thanks, FIFA. They can't even call it. The Arrowhead's not even a brand.
No. I was going to say, at least it's not Kansas City Stadium at Geehaw or whatever it is. G-E-H-A. No, that would be terrible. Yeah.
But it was a good game. And I think Kansas City showed out. And at least on television, it looked like Kansas City showed out. I'm not going until Saturday for Ecuador Curacao, and I've also got Netherlands Tunisia tickets. I'm very excited for that.
That'll be fun.
Very excited for that one. But it seemed like, albeit bumps in the road with the transit to the game, which was to be expected, it looked like Arrowhead. Arrowhead looked like Arrowhead.
Yeah, it looked great, and it sounded great.
And the Argentinians came in force. I was, as I was saying, I was stuck in Brownsville Friday night, so I flew home on Saturday, and I flew through Dallas. So there were a number of Argentinians on my flight from Dallas to Kansas City, and then I got off the plane, and they're all wearing kits. the ones I could tag were wearing kits, right? There could have been many more Argentinians wasn't even aware of. But I got off the plane, man, and like half the airport was Argentina kits.
That's awesome.
And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing at the game. And sure enough, it was, 95% Argentinians at the game, which is just awesome. Like, you love to see that, and you love to see them experiencing that in America, coming to a stadium in America and doing it at Arrowhead. And man, like, I was watching it on TV, and it sounded like a fucking Chiefs game, dude.
It did. It was loud.
It was loud as hell. And I know that there's been, like, someone did, like, a whole, like, study on why sound is so loud at Arrowhead, because it's an open-air stadium. There's no roof or anything, like, we're making it reverberate. But it sounded like a Chiefs game, which was awesome. And I really enjoyed that. And so I think that the city is showing out well. P&L is crazy for every game. The Fan Fest looks really cool. I have not been there yet. I drove by it just to check it out. The Fan Fest looks super cool. And for the people that on the Discord are saying that, like, it is super cool. I don't know if you've checked it out yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't checked out anything. And I will say that there was an interview with a kid today that I heard that he and his family, I think, came up. They flew in from like I want to say like Nicaragua, and they didn't even get tickets to the actual game. They went to FanFest, watched the game, and then flew back to Nicaragua. That was his trip of a lifetime. He got to see Messi score, 3 goals.
But he's at the World Cup to see Messi score.
Yep, it's amazing.
And the vibes of the Fan Fest looked really good for that game. So I'm sure he like really enjoyed it. Like, and at that level, you can sort of like experience it, right? Like, even if that's all you did, that's wild.
It's still a cool thing, right? And all the pictures and video that I've seen of the Fan Fest make it look like it's a worthwhile experience for sure. And it's not even just that. It's like every suburb around Kansas City has their own sort of little like watch party thing. Like there's one in Leeds Summit, there's one in Lenexa, I know there's one in North KC. It's really a cool thing to see the city just kind of like all come together to watch soccer.
Well, and I think that that's a worthwhile thing to note when it comes to this metro area. The Kansas City metro area is like 2.5 times the size of London. Okay? Yeah. Like, I think, geographically and geographic size, right? I'm not talking about population. In fact, that sort of even actually sort of clarifies my point a little bit. When we're talking about public transit options and the ability to get to the stadium, et cetera, should it be easier to get to Arrowhead? Sure. Although, in 5 years they're moving it somewhere else. So, like, what are you going to do at that point?
Yeah.
Which is a whole separate conversation. But should it be easier to get there? Sure. But the entirety of the population of Kansas City, Missouri is like 500,000 people. Yeah. And that landmass is like 1.8 times the size of London, which has 15 million people. It's just different. The density is different. As much as I would like to it's not realistic to expect a city with 500,000 people to build a complete public transit system for all of its landmass. It's just not realistic. Yeah. I do think that they can improve it. I do think that I am the strongest proponent of trying to find ways to make it better, for sure. But also, I feel like sometimes we get we get sort of wrapped around this. Well, Europe's figured this out. Well, their population density is completely fucking different.
Right. So it's not just Europe, right? It's like, it's like places, even Portland is a really good example, right? So Portland has amazing public transit, but they have density, right? That's the one thing. It's
super dense. All their people are in one spot.
That's all you gotta have.
Seattle's the same way. They have to all live in very specific areas. You know why? Because there's water surrounding everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, they have trains and shit like that make that work, but that's because everyone lives in the same place. Kansas City does not. It is spread way the fuck out. In fact, part of the reason people like living here is they got land and they don't have to step on top of each other.
Yeah, you can live in a house. You don't have to live in an apartment.
Right. What does that mean? You it's not easy to build a public transit system that works for everybody.
Yep.
And I didn't really want to get on this. I don't want to get on this bent. It's not important, but I do think that it is somewhat important to recognize that there are limitations just based on where we live and how we live that limit that stuff. But I do think that
Kansas City had to put in a streetcar just to make it walkable. That's all the streetcar does, right? It just makes it walkable, like
allows
real
you
big
to walk.
city.
Yeah,
like that's it's not even like a transit option. It's just
and you're talking to someone who lives in the most walkable area of town.
Yeah,
and I still drive to a bunch of shit.
Yep.
Like it's just the way that it works. Anyway, let's move on to more fun things.
Yeah.
One of which is Zlatan continuing to call Alexi Lalas Alexis, which is probably my favorite thing. But just in general, the just complete disrespect they show towards Alexi constantly on the Fox broadcast. Like Fox thought it would be a good idea to bring in Rebecca Lowe, Thierry Henry, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic with Alexi Lalas as a means to elevate their broadcast. And it did elevate their broadcast. Mm-hmm. Those three people elevate the broadcast. But also what it does is show just what a fucking jackhole Lalas is to everyone who's watching at every moment.
He does. Thankfully, he does tone it down when he's with them, and that's how you know that it's all just a stupid shtick. It's because he tones it down with them, but when he's on, like he was on with Chicharito and
Carly Lloyd
and Thiago the other night, and he turned the bombastic meter up to 11, dude. He was just his typical self, and
right, because those other people will check him, and these people won't check him when he does that.
He's just absurd. He's just a caricature and a parody of himself, and that's even before you get to the politics, which makes it even worse.
I don't even care about the politics. He fucking sucks. He's not a good analyst.
No, he's not.
He's a shit analyst. He just says dumb shit. Like this guy was on. This guy had. I think the skeet that I read was this guy happened to have long hair and a goatee on a national team that won one game, and we're stuck listening to him talk for the rest of his fucking life. Like why?
It's all sizzle, no steak, man. Like he just knows how to be on TV. He knows how to. He took his cue from instead of taking his cue from. Objective and measured analysis that we see on NBC for the Premier League. He's
from Tim Howard, who actually had a real career.
He's taking it from Fox, right? From Fox football guys who are all just it's all just jock fest up there, guffawing and being hyper and
that works ridiculous. When your audience is so big that the vast majority of them aren't paying that close of attention.
Yeah.
Soccer doesn't work.
No, I agree.
Soccer fans are smart as shit, dude.
And they're used to a different kind of analyst for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, the best part for me is just watching them make fun. Like Zlatan keeps calling him Alexis. It's my favorite thing of the whole tournament.
I love how the camera will pan to the studio crew and the other three will be standing kind of by each other, and he'll be way off to the side, and it's oh, okay.
Zlatan makes fun of his suit all the time. Thierry Henry has done it as well. And listen, and I'm no Thierry Henry man. Like the man played for the team I hate the most, and helped them win a Premier League title. But I can respect him. Like he's a fantastic player, and he's actually a really good analyst. So I respect the shit out of him. And just watching him just dog Alexi, it fills me with joy. It fills
almost as good as watching him dog Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that guy sucks. That guy sucks. He sucks. He sucks. That's all there is to it. Alexi and Cristiano Ronaldo should go just hang out in a suckitude chamber together. Like they can just caress each other in the chamber of suckitude. All right. The other thing that I thought has been great, the Confederation of African Nations is having a World Cup, man.
Yeah, like we've all been waiting for it, right? It's been disappointing in the past few World Cups, and everybody's kind of waiting for Africa to have their moment, and they're, I think
they're having it. They're having it right now.
Well, I think that Morocco's investment in infrastructure and in their team, and I think that has really helped push things forward a little bit. And like they're not playing around this time. Like they're here to play. And
Morocco's a legit football team, football team. Like I would not be surprised at all to see them in the semifinals of this tournament.
Yep.
But I think that's an interesting point that you're making. Is like, they sort of famously lost the AFCON final to Senegal. But so you have like Senegal, Morocco, like that is those battles at AFCON are in all the group stage action, and it's raising the level, like a rising tide raises all ships. That feels like that's happening with Africa right now, right?
Yeah, it's great. And like those teams are a lot of times really fun to watch.
They play fun football, man. They don't play reductive football. They play football, and that's the thing. It's like it's fun to see. It's fun to see those. I don't the whole South Africa thing. Like playing Mexico at the Azteca, dude. It's fucking hard. It's fucking hard.
But they looked terrible. I mean, they looked really bad.
Well, I mean, they get a red card. There's just a variety of things went wrong, right? But I do think in general, it'll be interesting to see how this sort of rolls out over the next couple weeks. But I think the early returns are fairly positive for the African Federation, and I'm glad to see it because I think that there are some very good teams there. Ghana, like I said, just now beating Panama. There are a number of good teams there, and it's good to see them get some shine in this World Cup.
I love watching Yan Diomande so much, and I want him to do so well, and yet I don't, because I just see the number Liverpool might have to pay for him just going up.
It's totally worth it.
It'll totally be worth it. He's amazing.
Did you read his Players Tribune article today?
Yeah, I did. Amazing.
It is unbelievable. It is a tearjerker for sure. Go read it. I'm not gonna say anything more than that for those listening to the pod that haven't read it. Awesome. But you should absolutely read it. It's unbelievable, and you will be a Yan Diomande fan for life once you read it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's transition for just a moment to the Kansas City Current. Ali Sentnor, no longer a Kansas City Current player. This happened I don't know, about an hour before we started recording that this news came out.
I didn't know it. This is news to me.
It is. It literally happened. I'm going to say, let me see when this news came out. Jeff Kassouf broke it at 6:00. So we started recording at 6:45. So yeah. The Current has sold Ali Sentner to Angel City for $850,000. They got her for $600,000 from Utah, so that's a fairly significant return on investment in a year. You're hoping that they're getting that money to reinvest it, in the midfield, hopefully. I don't think it's Ali Sentner's fault. I think that she was a poor fit for how they were playing soccer right now, and not necessarily, and a little bit surplus to requirements, especially with Dabinia coming back from injury after the break. I don't know what your thoughts are here. I mean, I'm not surprised by this necessarily, but I don't wish Ali bad, but I just don't think that necessarily she was in the best place in Kansas City.
She's a tough player to find a fit for, honestly, and especially on this team, but just I think in general, right? Like she doesn't. She's kind of a tweener. She's kind of in between, like a 9 and a 10. But she's she's good at creating her own shot. She's not that great of a passer, but she's a little
or
bit
a dribbler.
undersized. Right. She's a little bit undersized.
She kind of reminds me of Adrian Rabiot. She does nothing for like 90 minutes and all of a sudden does something unbelievable that no one's ever seen.
Right. So yeah, it's like I'm okay with it. I mean, I thought that I've never been that enamored with her, honestly, and this hopefully will give the opportunity for Croy Bethune to sort of stay further forward, and maybe Hopkins is center forward, and they can just roll with that. I don't know. I mean,
I'm concerned that Chris Armas is going to put Dabinia at center forward.
Okay. I mean, wow. Yeah. he'd be better off putting Temwa at center forward, honestly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
They're going to try to put Deb on the field. So where do they put her if Croy Bethune's a 10?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. If you have Hopkins at center forward, you have, I don't know. I probably the best thing. I mean, honestly, it's probably Temwa at center forward, and then
Deb at left wing,
and then Deb at left wing, Bethune, and
they've done that Michelle before, Cooper. Where they've sort of been a little bit like lopsided and inverted, and then Izzy goes into that wide space a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know that I trust Chris Armas to create the positional sort of structure to make that work, but that is what I have seen them do that before.
The nice thing about having Temwa out wide is it's easy. It's a lot easier for her to find space if she's out wide.
She defends wide as well,
right?
Which is a really useful thing. Your opponent can't just walk into yards of space on that side.
That's very true. That's very true. You want her isolated against a fullback, maybe having to pull a winger or a midfielder over to help. Where if she's central, she's automatically bracketed by two center backs, and it's just limiting. And so, I don't know. That's
she's not a hold-up player. Like the thing is like it makes a ton of sense for them to just put Haley Hopkins there.
Yeah,
and either Deb or Croy play the 10.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know. It depends on what they do with this $850,000. Maybe a week from now, there's a signing that makes all of this come into, a clear view.
I think they should sign. I think they should sign Lily Johannes. That's what I think.
I agree. I concur, sir. I concur. No, I think that's the problem is I have no faith in Chris Armas. Before Hervé Renard got announced as the new coach of Tunisia, I was like, hey, Tunisia, we have a coach over here. He has a green card. He can coach in the United States. You know why? Because he's a citizen of the United States. So you don't have to worry about any of that visa shit. You can just hire him right now, and he can coach.
Have you ever heard of Man United? He worked for Man United.
He worked for Man United. Did you know that? It'd be great. It'd be great for you. Did not happen. We got Herv. And everyone gets to look at his impeccably pressed linen shirts for as long as Tunisia allows him to be their head coach. They've fired like 5 coaches in the last.
Ain't gonna be long from what I saw.
Yeah, they've been moving around a lot.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have to look for? Obviously, the U.S. men's national team plays Australia on Friday. I think we talked about this a little bit. I am cautiously optimistic.
I'm not even cautious. I'm supremely optimistic and confident, which means it'll probably be a disaster. Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm not. I don't know. I think that the concern with Australia for me is probably mostly on set pieces, and as long as Chris Richards is healthy, I'm
not too worried about defensive set pieces with Richards. I would agree with that. I think that I'm more worried about counterattacking.
Yeah.
But if their counter pressure shape is like this, is like it was against Paraguay, I'm not concerned at all.
I would I would like it if Tyler Adams would not get a yellow card. That would be cool.
That would be cool. I was a little concerned because I was like worried because it used to be like yellow cards carried with you to like the semifinal,
Right.
but now I guess they reset after the group stage with the extended games. So all you have to do is get through the group stage without 2, and then they reset, and then they reset again at the semifinal.
But if he gets a yellow against Australia, then we wouldn't have him.
He is out. He is out.
And that would
for Turkey.
That would suck because I think that he would be a useful player to have for Turkey for sure.
Against Turkey, you think?
Yeah,
you think Tyler Adams might be
useful? That's a hot take. It might even be worth not starting him, honestly.
Flaming hot. Now that would be a hot take. Not starting him against Australia would be a hot take.
I mean, what does he add against? I mean, he adds, I guess, the ability to bust up counterattacks, but I think Roldan could probably do that job against Australia.
With Malik Tillman next to him, that's a concern. Now we're talking about some concerning things.
Yeah, I'm not that afraid of Australia, honestly.
They absolutely roasted Turkey on the counterattack.
Turkey is ass, dude. I mean, and especially defensively.
Turkey is not ass. Turkey is a very talented soccer
team. Defensively, they were a shit show. They were disorganized. And
they were very disorganized. I agree with all that, but
they're poorly coached. They were so frustrating to watch, honestly. Like I tuned into that game.
They're frustrating to watch because they're so talented and they play like shit.
And they could not. They refused to get in behind Australia at all. Right? They let Australia.
It was like watching Spain play Cape Verde.
It was like watching someone play like last year's Sporting Kansas City, where like everything was like right there in
like I said, Spain versus Cape Verde. Like it was the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
but I mean,
you didn't even mention that Sporting Kansas City is playing England in a closed door.
I was waiting for it.
Okay,
you hit.
I just remembered that. That's funny.
I cannot wait for Harry Kane to learn about Zoran Basong. Like that is what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
He's gonna because Zoe. He's gonna put some fucking tackles in. He's just gonna be pressing like a fucking animal, and they're gonna be like, "This is a friendly."
Dude, chill, dude.
Zoe doesn't, especially because Zoe didn't make the Canadian national team. This is his World Cup.
This is it. Yeah, absolutely.
This is his motherfucking World Cup, and he's gonna let people know. We won't hear anything about it, but yeah, I'm yes, that is a thing that is happening. Sporting is apparently playing a closed door friendly against the English national team, and it will not be against Harry Kane. From what I understand, it's going to be the guys who did not play today.
Yeah, which are all still great players. So
whatever, dude. They've never met the defensive pressure that is Zoran Basong.
Come
on, dude. What are you doing? What are you trying to say here? I mean, let me take a look here. Who do we got?
Will they be able to avoid just laughing?
Dan Byrne.
Hey, Big Dan. He'll put a hurt on you.
Fucking Dan Byrne. Hendo. That's who's available? Hendo? Isn't he like 400 years old?
Yeah, I think so. About that.
How did Hendo even make this team? Who is Tuchel calling up to this team?
When you're as old as him and you don't play, it's all leadership. He's the locker room guy. Blah blah blah.
Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney. Come on, yo. Come on. I can't wait. I can't
imagine Ivan Toney versus Jansen Miller.
No, Ivan Toney's going to have to go up against Blorian. Mandor Blorian's going to show him what the fuck is up.
Is he in town for sure?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. That's good news.
I don't even worry about Iberici Eze because he doesn't score unless it's Tottenham. So that's fine. Yeah, who came off the bench late? Morgan Rogers. Marcus Rashford, who's that fucking guy? Fuck that guy.
He scored today.
He did. I'm actually happy for him. I think Rashford gets a lot of stick, and he doesn't necessarily deserve it. Now, granted, he's an obsessively rich person. That's not like his life is terrible, but also I think like he gets a lot of stick that he doesn't deserve. Ooh, Jed Spence got out there. Tottenham mentioned.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's the only Tottenham player on the roster, unless you count Harry Kane.
I do not.
I mean, he played many years for Tottenham.
He did. So did Gareth Bale, but do I consider Gareth Bale a Tottenham player? I do not.
Gareth Bale played for Tottenham for like 3 years. He did not play as long as Harry Kane. Anyway, we still claim Harry. We will always claim him. But yeah, Mark Gahey. Who the fuck is that guy? Can't wait till he sees Dejan Joveljic.
Dejan might score on him, honestly. Dejan's pretty good.
He's pretty spicy. Anyway, we will not know anything that happened in this game. We're having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that, candidly, I think it's good that the team is getting a little bit of Sporting Kansas City is getting a little bit of actual competition, even if it's fake competition. I think that's good for them as they're preparing for the upcoming season. I'm good for it. And like I said, Morgan Rogers, you better watch out for fucking Zorn Basong.
Hell yeah. Jake Davis is going to 2-foot somebody just to show he should be starting. Dude, I have a feeling.
Yeah, that might happen. That might happen. We're gonna hear about Saka being injured.
I mean, all Jake Davis has to do is blow on Saka and he'll be injured. So,
no comment. All right. Well, we are enjoying this World Cup. It has been a wonderful first week for a variety of reasons, as we've discussed already. We are hoping the U.S. men's national team keeps the positive vibes going. And we'll be back next week to talk about, hopefully, those vibes continuing, as well as the other fun things we're seeing around the country. And until then, I'm Drew. He's Cody. We will talk to y'all next week.
Go USA.